legit. Anything you want.
Ethereum Classic 51% attack the reality of proof of work. Just 2 weeks into the new year and the cryptocurrency community is grappling with the reality of an alleged 1% attack on the Ethereum Classic etc. blockchain. While there is still no clear idea of who is responsible for the manipulation of etc's blockchain by controlling the majority of CPU power in the mining pool, the circumstances raise some big questions concerning the security and power of proof-of-work PoW algorithms. It is worth taking a look at the chain of events leading up to the confirmation that etc. had indeed been the target of a blockchain reorganization. On January 7, etc. developers were alerted of a possible attack on the network by Chinese blockchain security firm Slowmist, which was relayed to the wider community on Twitter. A tweet from the etc. Twitter handle, which has since been deleted, speculated that testing of new 1400/mH attach machines by application-specific integrated circuit ASIC manufacturer Lindsay may have been a potential cause. Etc. developers said that the attack was most likely selfish mining, noting that they had not detected any double spends at the time. Following this, American cryptocurrency exchange and wallet service Coinbase LSO detected what it ascribed as a 51% attack. The company then paused all etc. transactions. Coinbase had identified a upchain reorganization of the etc. blockchain which included a double spend on Saturday, January 5. By the evening of January 7, the company had taken stock of multiple double spends on the network. Time of writing, we have identified a total of 15 reorganizations, 12 of which contained double spends, totaling $219,500 etc. $1.1 million. The Coinbase team seems to have conducted a thorough blockchain analysis and provided specific instances of blockchain reorganization. Crypto exchanges CoinCheck and Flyer followed suit, announcing halts of etc. transactions on their platforms. On January 9, Slowmist released a detailed report on the 51% attack, corroborating the same chain reorganizations released by Coinbase, as well as other transactions targeting Binance and Bitrue wallets. Bitrue also confirmed the attack on Twitter. Slowmist also believes that a concerted effort by all the exchanges involved could help identify the perpetrator. Raw intelligence analysis, the identity of the attacker can be finally located if the relevant exchanges are willing to assist. Cryptocurrency exchange Gate.io LSO confirmed that it had picked up at least 7 double spend transactions after conducting its own investigation into the attack. Users of the exchange were guaranteed to be paid back for any losses experienced. Unpacking blockchain reorganization. The notion of a 51% attack is not new, and there have been instances of this over the years, even being popularized by the Hollywood sitcom Silicon Valley. An attack on a blockchain that uses the PoW algorithm for consensus is possible if the attackers have over 50% control of the network hash rate. If this is the case, the controlling CPU power will allow an attacker to create a separate chain from any previous block in the blockchain. Given that it has the majority of computing power, its new chain will eventually overtake the accepted chain by the network, thereby defining a new transaction history. In this new chain, the attackers are able to double spend virtual currency, meaning that the funds that have already been spent on the network's chain could be spent again on the attacker's chain. As Mendy Sirer, a developer and professor at Cornell University, told Cointelegraph, a 51% attack is bad, but it does not give attackers omnipotent power. Miners at 51% or more have a lot of powers, but they do not have the ability to change the actual rules of the system, nor can they usurp funds. They can rewrite the existing blockchain in a limited fashion, they cannot introduce transactions that don't already exist, they can omit any transaction that they want, and they certainly cannot change any of the existing rules. The reality of consensus proof of work consensus requires a network of miners to process transactions. This is clearly set out in Satoshi Nakamoto's Bitcoin white paper, which also makes it clear that more than half of the network must be so-called honest workers. If a majority of CPU power is controlled by honest nodes, the honest chain will grow the fastest and outpace any competing chains. Thus, vulnerability is inherently built into PoW consensus algorithms, as the network assumes that mining nodes are honestly validating transactions. The evolution of mining has seen the rise in domination of ASIC chips as well as the amassing of hash power by massive groups of mining pools, which then share the rewards of their combined work. These large pools potentially pose a threat to any cryptocurrency using POW algorithms, as a concerted effort to pool resources that would combine hash rate over 50% of the total network gives them control. In this instance, the network becomes centralized like a bank. Following the etc. attack, Litecoin LTC founder Charlie Lieda's vulnerability is a necessary point of weakness for a fully decentralized cryptocurrency. By definition, a decentralized cryptocurrency must be susceptible to 51% attacks whether by hash rate, stake, and/or other permissionlessly acquirable resources. If a crypto can be 51% attacked, it is permissioned and centralized. Gunsire was far less positive in a thread of posts on Twitter, noting that the immutability of the blockchain was completely compromised. Deep reorg is a rewrite of the blockchain, a rewriting of history. As such, it marks complete failure of immutability. Since immutability is ETC's main claim to fame, this is technically a catastrophic failure. Let's see what the exchanges will do in response. Changes to Ethereum proof of work. While the etc. blockchain comes to grips with this most recent debacle, Ethereum ETH core developers reached a tentative consensus to implement a new POW algorithm on N. 4. The move aims to address the apparent divide in efficiency between ASIC and GPU mining on the Ethereum network. ASIC mining has been developed to efficiently mine cryptocurrencies using specific algorithms. Ethereum was originally designed to be ASIC resistant, although ASIC chips were eventually developed that were able to run the Ethash algorithm. Nevertheless, changes have been on the horizon for Ethereum for some time now. Core developers are expected to make a more detailed call on the implementation of ROGPOW on January 18. This is all in line with an end goal of transitioning entirely to a proof-of-stake POS consensus system. The first major move to this eventuality is the Constantinople hard fork, which is expected to take place this month as well. The hard fork will also include other Ethereum improvement proposals EIPs to streamline the transition from POW to POS. While Ethereum forges ahead, the etc. developers will be pondering their next move. Smaller cryptocurrencies using POW algorithms are at more risk of these types of attacks, but that is not to say they are going to be targeted by attackers. Donald McIntyre, a member of the etc. development team, wrote a succinct post on Medium, unpacking the attack and possible ways forward for etc. My personal opinion is that what happened is a significant setback, but I think etc. still has a unique positioning as a POW plus Turing complete network with an active community with sound principles. The question is whether a recovery in the medium or long term is plausible or if the network, unless it grows significantly, is perpetually vulnerable, therefore unusable. Once the etc. development team and community have taken stock of the damage, the way forward can start to be considered. Whether this encompasses a change in the method of consensus remains to be seen.